put out the fire. It's a classic trick, has been used with great success, in quotes, all over the world. So why? You hear people saying that this thing took the Israeli intelligence by surprise. Take them by surprise. Hamas were training in the open. What they needed was, I'm talking about the Israelis and the European and American powers. What they needed, and the Zionists in Israel, what they needed was a 911 moment. So all the initial stories about people being beheaded, and all of that was part of the package to get hold of people's emotions, provide a justification for going all out. So it's just going to be a continuation of the process of eviction and expansion of the Zionist project. Now they're putting pressure on Egypt to open Sinai, so those in Gaza can go to the desert. That is a project. Okay, but like any colonial project, like any racist apartheid project, it will be fought, it will be resisted. And people may see this as a setback, but I can see a greater globalization of the struggle against Zionism and the racist colonial settlements, that is Israel. One final point, but that has to do with a point that was made by, was it you? Or was it made by Kwame Mutala? About a grenade that was supposed to have been planted in a bouquet of flowers.
Someone sent me a message.
Yes. Yes, it has entered our history books. It was never planted. It was thrown. You can't plant a grenade. You know how a grenade works. You take out the detonator, the pin, and within a matter of seconds, it goes off.
Was it thrown at the time when the child had sent
it was thrown when the child and the people, there was an entourage. Nkrumah was coming in. Nkrumah was coming in from Upper Volta. The Upper Regional CPP decided to do an impromptu presentation to the leader. It was completely impromptu. So he has stopped Akulungugu. So there was an entourage, a reception party, right, with a girl carrying the bouquet plus the other official. So when they got close,
they threw the...
Yes. And the person who threw it is a leading member of your party.
No, I disagree.
He's a member.
I'm not a part, but...
You are no longer in that party,
but
so why
that part of the historical provision is challenged.
He's challenged by who?
You and I, you were told that...
Hold on.
Hold
on. One further detail. I hope they have the original recording. Mr. Kwesi Pratt interviewed a gentleman who worked in the Army Ordnance Office. Okay? And I've been interested in this because some grenades got missing. Okay? The person who was involved, I've gotten to know later, is a distant relation of mine. Okay? He used subterfuge to remove some grenades from the system. They turned up in the Kulungugu and other bomb throwings. There was a full inquiry done by the army. They established what had happened. But this story was allowed to run as part of the business of knocking heads in the CPP. The same operation that led to the arrest and prosecution of Alhaji and Kofi Crab and Tari Adamafiu. It was a job done by our friends in the UP to deepen the internal cracks in the CPP, present that there was infighting.
But they said it was thrown by, so to throw a grenade meant we were very close, and that leading member of that UP went closer there and threw that grenade. That cannot be.
No, he was standing.
How can that be possible?
You throw a grenade.
That the leading member of the UP tradition.
I'm saying that he's now a leading member of your former party.
And people saw him throwing that grenade.
He was arrested.
Doc, whether Jonah swallowed the fish or the fish swallowed Jonah, there was a swallow.
But this story can never be believed by myself.
You are not denying that.
I'm saying that there's a program.
Bombs were thrown. It's a fact.
So that's what is.
But as to who did it, who masterminded it?
Who are you people?
CPP's own inquiries later found out that they were from within.
No.
They were from within.
Which inquiries?
Oh.
Which inquiries? Who led that inquiry? What are you talking about?
But
every inquiry established, it was masterminded by the likes of Akwaji and those people.
No, it is only your inquiry that
what are you talking about?
It's only your inquiry that establishes that.
So this is a message from Camilo Saxizi, who says, Senator, this is okay. On the Kulungugu bomb attempt on Nkrumah's life, his personal cameraman, Dr. Chris Hersey, in 2007, came out to clear the air that the bomb was never planted in the bouquet of flowers the little girl carried. According to him, the bomb was thrown from somewhere else, which unfortunately fell on the bouquet of flowers which killed the innocent girl. Dr. Hersey made a correction on March 6, 2007 on Ghana 50 celebration. Was on a GTV live program. Let me do a few more messages. This one says, please read this message. Okay, thank you very much. I'll try and see if I can draw his attention. We can still find your message. This one says, Sana, I'm 50 years, and for me, I have no hope as a citizen of Ghana anymore, either in the leadership today or future, and doing anything possible to sell my house so I can get my wife and children out of here. Why? Because I have even rented my house in the city out and gone to the village with my family, and so the bad governance of this administration has followed me to the village. Today, Today I can't sleep and always thinking. He calls himself a worried man from Akosombo. Thank you for that message. There's this one who says, Sana, please ask okay, he's not an MPP guest. He's not an MPP guest. He's from the Movement for Change. Solomon Owusu, who has now declared support for Alan Chamantin, that the majority leader of State Chairman Sabonso in an interview said they are working on bringing back Alan to the party. Now, ask Solomon what he thinks about that and what will be his next decision when his boss is lured again to the New Patriotic Party. Will he follow him back to the MPP, or that will be the end of his career? Henry Adi Gisenu sent this. This one is from Courage. From Banana, he says, I believe this time His Excellency the President will not use the Israelis and Palestinian conflict to measure our economy. I think that's a fear that everybody is expressing, that very soon we'll be told that Palestine and Israel are responsible for where economy is. This one's the son. I heard Comrade Murtala Mohammed recommend 2 books worth reading about Ghana from the declassified document of CIA. Kindly ask him to send me the titles, also where I can obtain them, please. Okay.
State of Africa.
Okay. Martin Marideth, the State of Africa. Okay. This one says, Mr. President, I'm surprised by those comments made by our president. Was it plagiarism? Like what he did during his swearing in some time ago? The continental body is against what Israel is doing, and you represent this small country and spew this from your mouth because of your selfish deed. God save our land. Thank you. I think it's commenting on the president saying that we are fully behind Israel. Let's Agbo from Karachi says, and a good morning to you and your panel. I'm happy all MPP aspirants, including Solomon, are now admitting that the economy is bad. It's surprising to know that these were the same people who, before the bid to lead this country, clearly and consistently defended everything, including evils this government committed and continue to commit. Comes December 7, 2024, all those guys will dance to the tunes of their own music. Abu sent this from Takrady. It says, and there's a showdown walk here in Takrady, but the amount of intimidation is too much. So there's a lot happening. PDC sent this from Pokwase. What do this incompetent, useless government led by Nanado want? Let's rise up and impeach him before it's too late. He's just wasting our time. Thanks. PDC sent that from Pokwase. And this one says, Dr. Percy hit the nail right on the head. You can see their violent nature being exhibited. Very, very intolerant people. Even under military rule, we did not see some of these wrongs taking place today. Akufo-Addo is like the Westerner. He supports today. People who care less about lives when their interest is concerned, hypocrites, are they not? Kipo send that from Savannah region. Yes, this one says, in fact, few weeks after President Mills' twist of tongue, candidate Akufo-Addo delivering a speech before MPP youth as secondary also repeatedly said, say the quadruple when he meant quadruple, and no NDC made a noise about it, knowing that it was a genuine slip of tongue. So those are some messages you're sending to us. This one says, our president's problem is he is less knowledgeable for the presidency and should just resign. This one also says, please don't forget. Okay, he gave the book. I think he said, is it Meredith?
Martin Meredith, The State of Africa. The other one is
Martin
End
Meredith.
of the Illusion.
End of the Illusion.
PS Feature. That's an old book. I don't know whether you
can find it on the market.
But I have.
You have a copy.
I have a copy.
Okay.
Yeah.
This one says the country Ghana has a very, very long way to go. A country that has no national direction, policy, and agenda. Kojo Nyasepe Teshi sent that one. I'm trying to read as many of those messages as I can. Okay. So Babs from Obuasi says, my grandfather Majite told me the bomb was from someone, not from the bouquet. The bomb was thrown by someone, not from the bouquet. There's Senna. Why should okay, I think this one has relates to something else. Thank you very much for the messages you're sending into the show. No matter what talk shows, Alhaji and Alhaji.
If you get that book, you should just go to the Ghana section. It's about many countries in Africa.
Okay.
Just go to the Gold Coast
And focus on the Ghana section.
Yes.
Okay. Well, this is Pan-African Television. We are also live on Radio Gold. Of course, we are on YouTube, Pan-African TV. I realized the earlier stream cut. We have a new one, so you can go to YouTube and watch us live. Pan-African Television is the page you should look for on YouTube. Unfortunately, today we are not on Facebook. And thank you very much for sending in those messages. We have to move on to our last topic for discussion. I think I can afford 10 minutes each for each panelist on the matter of the decision that has been made, the AG's opinion on the docket that was sent to the Attorney General by the CID on the Professor Frimpong Boateng report. Don't forget, this matter is also even before the Special Prosecutor's Office. The AG is of the opinion that aside 3 people, I think a certain Mante, a journalist, a certain John Foyata, and of course the famous Ekowusi, aside the 3 of them, the AG believes that more work can be done on investigation. The rest that were mentioned in the Professor Frimpong Boateng report, as for them, they're not a strong case. There's no evidence that has been put forward, both from the CID and Professor Frimpong Boateng, for any action to be taken on them. I'll start with Mr. Solomon also once again and go around.
Yes, I heard the Attorney General defend his position, and I felt it was unfortunate. It's an unfortunate advice because, see, as we speak, our forest cover is destroyed. By 1900, we had about 8.8 hectares of forest cover. By 1950, it had reduced to 4.2. As of 1999, we only had about 1.5 million. You and I drove to Nkrofo, and we went past the Ankobra River. What did we see? Milo. Water body turned Milo color. Brownish in all aspects. And my own village, the Apaprama forest that Professor Frimpong Boateng captured, is where I come from. And I know the level of destruction. So there is no doubt that Galamsey, issue of Galamsey, is destroying our environment, water bodies, and so on and so forth, leading to a lot of problems. And so if you are an attorney general and a report that was not even meant for you, that report, remember, was sent to the Chief of Staff way back in 2021, when the Chief of Staff asked the then chairman of the Interministerial Committee to present his whole overview of their activities. Any name that was mentioned in the report, the good professor gave reasons why their names had to be captured in the report. And so if you are an attorney general and you know that one of the problems the country is facing is Galamsey, and you are professing advice, after all, you are saying it was the police that submitted a report to you seeking your advice. If for any reason the report had been submitted to you, lacked the basis for any conviction or to take to court, the reasonable thing to do as an attorney general is to advise the police to do a further work, detailed work. Or you can even direct them as to areas to look at. And not just to say we cannot prosecute 12 out of the 15 people that names that were submitted. See, in the very report that Professor Frimpong Boateng submitted to the Chief of Staff, in one instance where he described Sir John as a danger to the forest, he said that in the presence of the president. Did the police in their investigation contact the president to deny or confirm that aspect of the report? The issue relating to the Chastni Tekotego, the protozoas and so on and so forth, he said they called him. Was it the case that the police resorted to the Tekos to retrieve some of these voice notes so that they will come and tell us that there is no basis for their names to be mentioned? Any name the good professor mentioned, he ascribed reasons to. When he mentioned Mr. Kweku Baku's name, he said he called him. Indeed, Mr. Kweku Baku came out to confirm that indeed he called, but the only issue was that what they discussed had nothing to do with what the prof was saying. I mean, how? In the case of Gabi Asarochilaku, he said Gabi called him. Gabi has not been able to deny that he called him.
Yeah, he said he did that in his capacity as a lawyer.
So you see, so if indeed you called the man, say now you sitting here, Professor Frimpong Boateng never captured your name as having called him to discuss any Galamsey matter. Why, of all the people in government, these were the names that he fished out? And if you are an attorney general that you care so much, don't be thinking about yourself alone. That today you can afford a bottle of mineral water. Go to my village and see whether the people are able to afford that your water that you are sitting in Accra and giving this advice. And to the police, what sort of investigations went on? They are saying Professor Frimpong Boateng didn't give further better particulars. It is not the job of Professor Frimpong Boateng to be giving you that further better particulars. At best, he will give you the leads. He gave you the lead that, look, this man did this. He called me. So the lead is to go to court and get an order to go and then retrieve the voices to follow through and not to sit down and expect further and better particulars. When indeed, everything that is said, is it not based on the same report that you are saying that as for Ekwawuzi and then John Ofori and Setmante, yes, you have to have a second look at it. Is it the case that because Ekwawuzi, John Ofori and Setmante are not integral part of this government, that's why you want them to be sacrificed? They cannot be doing this. You see, when Galamsey is not done in secret, it's an open activity. Look, if the police were even mindful, go to any of the mining areas, Galamsey sites, You don't even need to go to the site. Just get to the trotro station or taxi stations and ask those that are responsible for the galamsey. They will tell you without any hustle. They all know. So why are we pretending? Why are we pretending? You are not doing, don't think that by doing so you are protecting the image of the government. There is a difference between individuals and government. And that is why every individual has his or her name. The mere fact that the person belongs to the government does not mean whatever he or she does represents the policy of the government. So you deal with the person for the country to move on. But this is business of trying to cover up for them. You are rather making the situation. And thankfully, the good prof is still alive. He's not dead. When he mentioned the names, did you not hear those whose names were mentioned threatening to send him to court? What has happened to it? Why are they not suing them? In any case, if those whose names were mentioned feel strongly that they have been given a raw deal by prof, why are they not going to court to sue for defamation? Because they know that in court, prof will come out with the truth. But let me say that, like they say, crime has no expiry date. And this matter, unfortunately for whoever will be happy today that your name has been cleared, the report is available for any future government that is so mindful about protecting the environment of this country to follow through. Only just yesterday or so, someone is on record to have what? Expended 90 million. He has 15 years in jail. I'm talking about tuition.
Yeah, the pastor is working free.
You said the pastor is working free, eh?
Yes.
That's supposed to be what the board chairman also.
Of course.
We have people left, right, center just dissipating the resources of this country. And you think with this president, any serious leader will leave you or let go of you? Not the movement will change in this country. Because our change, look, 2024, there will be a change of government. That one is an established principle. But that change must be a transformational change. Not merely changing from NDC, MPP. That is not the change. Transformation, a change that will bring real growth. Prevent people that will be put in positions from dissipating the resources of this country. Godfrey Dame, relatively, is a young man, but I have been so disappointed in how he has handled this, Professor Frimpong Boateng. And you see, if you want people to have confidence in politicians, these are some of the issues that you deal with for people to have confidence in politicians. Whoever reads the report or the advice you give to the police would immediately say that it is because those whose names were mentioned are integral members of the New Patriotic Party. That is why you are finding every ways and means to cover them down, to protect them. But like I said, it is not good for the image of this country. And the earlier he revisited, direct the police to go back and do a thorough work. And the police too, you are supposed to be an independent institution. You don't have to sit down for people to come and show you how to conduct your investigations. So that together we can protect the environment. Recently, a professor in Konfonochi also alluded to the fact that babies that were being born with different 3 legs, 4 eyes, and so on as well, could be traced to the menace of galamsey. You understand? Kidney cases. Now they are estimated that close to about 5 million Ghanaians have an issue with kidney. You understand? Dialysis, already we are unable to pay. They increased it from what? 380 or something, yeah, to and head broke loose.
765.
Already we are unable to contain the small problems you have, and you are compounding it with galamsey.
Okay. So, thank you.
Professor Yanka says when you have a president that rides roughshod over the multifarious problems in his own country and junkets to bootlick in the US, as is his habit, what else do you expect of him in the issue of Israel-Palestine conflict than an expression of his greedy, sycophantic position of supporting Israel? Doesn't this confused government have any sense of history? Don't they listen to what the position of the AU is? We have inflicted a dangerous element called the precedent on ourselves. That is Professor Well, he just writes Professor Yanka. Every Professor Yanka is original. So you can't say there's an original Professor Yanka. Well, this is Papa BCU in Accra who says, hi, who even forced Nanado to declare support for Israel? Is it because of terrorism cash he wants from US? Nobody should ever give Nanado's government cash because it will be shared amongst him and his party folks, like how they shared the COVID fund and the $1 million per constituency that we heard Wuntumi, the regional chairman of Ashanti region, is always taking 20% off. And I'm sure the rest of the 80% might have been shared among their various constituency executives. Hey, Nanado, pension for cash and cash and not boarded to improve the loss of majority of suffering Ghanaians. That's Papa Bisi who sent that from Accra. Masol Akpabe says the reckless Akufo-Addo is pretending not to know or heard anything about how homeless the Akosombo Dam spillage has rendered some people in the Volta region, but he's there poking his nose into the conflict between Israel and Hamas. He is the worst president not only in the Fourth Republic but since independence. Comrade, you have your 10%. Your 10 minutes. I was saying 10%.
Well, first and foremost, there is no denying the fact that Galamsey, and it's a very dangerous thing that has ever happened and continue to happen to us as a people. And I'm on record to have said, for me, it's even worse than terrorism. It is worse than terrorism because terrorists use bombs to kill people. But Galamsey kills people slowly. It devastates your environment. It denies you of your livelihood. And at the end of the day, it afflicts certain sicknesses and illnesses on the people that we find it extremely difficult to manage. Like my brother said, the kidney problems we have today, the fact that children are born, deformed, and this by science aspects in the medical sector can attribute that to the Galamsey. Look, I lost confidence in Odami not today. Myself and he were in Legon together. You can describe him as a friend. But I wasn't surprised that he was appointed first and foremost to do the bidding of this president. He was not appointed to do the bidding of the government or the NPP as a political party, but ostensibly to do the bidding of President Nanado and his family. Sena, this government has no shame looting the state, regardless what the loot would occasion to the people of this country or the environment. Long before Professor Frimpong Boateng made the statement, we knew that there were people in government who were engaged in Galamsey. And don't take my word. The former minister for local government, my big sister Ajia Alima Mahama, Ajia Alima, when she met the MMDCs on national television, her statement was, among others, we know those of you who are engaged in Galamsey and will soon expose you people. She didn't say that we have information that some of you are engaged in Galamsey, that we know those of you. Ajia Lima could not have made that statement if she didn't know what she was talking about. She's a lawyer, a very honest person. And there's no way Ajia Lima could not have relayed that information to the president. This was a cabinet minister. At a time when we had this challenge that was confronting all of us. So President Nanado is aware of people closer to him and their engagement in Galamsey. The list said about the explanation of my senior comrade Kweku Bakwe and why he called Frimpong Boateng and Gabi Ochirdaku, the better. You see, I'm told there is a young man in the MPP that someone asks that the way you are following Dr. Baumia, in the event of MPP winning elections, which ministry do you want? And the young man said, I want to be GOD. The which minister said, no, I don't want ministry. I want to be GOD. And they asked him, what is GOD? And he said, Gabi Ochirdaku. Because he's so powerful that he even accompanied the president in attending meetings, serious discussions on issues that border on the state. One person whose name is not mentioned much is Bomti, another brother of the president. So, are you surprised that Godfrey Dami is giving us this bullshit? Absolute bullshit.
No, but that's not a...
Absolute... What? How do you describe this? That they can only prosecute those individuals. Perhaps they don't have tremendous protection like the other people. If you have a minister of state who says that MMDCs are engaged in Galamsey, a minister under whose ministry those MMDCs operate and function, and you think that the president was unaware, you think that the National Security Advisor, Coordinator, and the Minister for Interior are unaware of those who are engaged in it within the president, around the presidency. You think they don't know? And you think that Professor Frimpong would just make that statement without any evidence? And the question that is still nagging, when he accused certain individuals, they publicly with the Jamboree announced that they were going to sue him. Why haven't they sued him? Why haven't they done that? So you see, Tangnache Baba, Onorum Nachimba, the chief comes home with weird haircut. What do you expect his subjects to do? Because the corruption, the thievery in this country begins within the four walls of the presidency, the Flagstaff House, which unfortunately have been described as Jilobi House. That is where all the booty, the robbery goes in. Look, Sena, go to Laboni. Every single state land in Laboni has been sold by the Ministry of Lands. And I am using this medium to call on the special prosecutor to investigate the sales of land at Laboni encantonments. How much did they sell the land? How much came to the state? And how much were those lands sold to private individuals? And the class difference. Because if you sell a land, let's say $35,000, and then end up selling that land to someone $500,000, isn't it thievery? For example. So I am calling on the OSP to investigate the sale of state lands around cantonments, around Laboni. How much did they sell the land? Those who bought the land and paid to the state, why did they immediately sell those lands? Who did they sell the land to, and how much did they sell the land to those people? The ministry says they planted 5 million trees, and each tree comes with a market value. 5 million trees, and each tree came with a value, has a price tag. How do we establish whether 5 million trees were indeed planted? How? How? So I'm saying that this, for me, frankly speaking, many people's livelihood have been affected because of this Galamsey. This crass and worrying example given about some of the deformities in children who are being born, and also serious illnesses. Kidney is a very dangerous illness that at the time when dialysis, the money people pay for weekly dialysis have been quadrupled virtually. Well, they were paying 300 and something, now it's almost 800 Ghana cedis, more than 100% increase. How do we cope with some of these things? You live in a country where you had a Chinese woman, Asha Wang, who engaged in Galamsey. She was being prosecuted, and she was allowed to go in the name of aid or loans we are expecting from China. Yet the Ghanaian accomplices who were arrested alongside Asha Wang, where the prosecution continued. Yet Asha Wang was allowed to go by the state. The Ghana Bar Association were quiet. What would have been the position if this thing had happened under NDC? They were quiet. When the entire judiciary was under attack, because that's an attack on the judiciary. Took the person out, and the senior minister went said, oh, went to America and they asked him, and they said they were expecting some 3 billion loan from China, and they didn't want to jeopardize that loan. That was the reason why they had to allow the woman to go. What did the Ghana Bar Association say? When we call them a serious group of individuals, they get angry. Okay. This is just the beginning. I'm saying that, look, I'm not surprised about this. And frankly speaking, even if they were mentioned, and I agree with Dr. Percy, to what end? What will happen? So until such a time that some of us will begin re-echoing the accusations and allegations made by Professor Frimpong Boateng on certain individuals, and now those individuals are now saying they call what business has a media person got to be calling ministers? What's the name? Chairman of interministerial or committees. A journal, a media. What business do you have to be calling to talk about what? When the minister accused you, he didn't say he called you for you to arrange a party or a dinner with him.
Correct. Thank you. Thank you. This one is from this is a text message. This is from Treasure. Solomon, today you have made my day. Continue to talk about the ills in the MPP party because they are becoming uncontrollable. This is Treasure who sent that. Says Senna, Nanando is a troublemaker. He doesn't know what to say without a written report. It is high time our MP stop him from speaking about critical foreign matters like this because for him, he doesn't care about anything. This one says, please, the bombing of Nkrumah was at Kolongogo and the planting of the bomb in a flower bouquet involving a little girl okay in Accra. He died some few years ago at Dansuman. Okay, this is another one. This one says, Ghana stage at this moment after 79 is that when you still... Okay, thank you very much for sending in that message. Doc.
Well, I mean, nothing that turns up under the regime of President Nanado really surprises me. I think I've made this point before, Sana. You find in politics, you find people in politics, people who occasionally, say things that are based on, they're untrue, even dishonest. But never would you, it's rare to find someone whose entire political praxis is founded on dishonesty, like you have for our president. No, it's a serious matter. The Ghanaian people were conned into believing him for what he was not. But that was the only way he was going to get close to the public purse. Yeah. Imagine if he had come out and told people that, look, I intend to loot the public purse. Would you have allowed him? You wouldn't. Yes, so he had to go through all those pretenses. Human rights, a believer in the due process, etc., etc. None of that was true. All he needed was to get close so they can recover the family inheritance, Ghana. And that is really what is going on. And as for the Professor Frimpong Boateng report, for a long while after this report was supposed to have been delivered, nobody knew about it, right? I don't know, I think it came out through a leak or something.
Yes.
Yes. And then the initial response was much of it was what? Hearsay. Yes. So now, if the appointed this thing, I'm looking for a word to describe the Attorney General, and maybe I should abandon that effort. He comes out, is instructed to put the best presentation on it. That's all. He's done that. The clearance has already been done. Right? And the president has more important things on his plate. So we'll not go back to doing a formal clearance, you know, as he has done on previous occasions. He says, oh, listen, there's nothing in it. End of the matter. It's for a succeeding government to decide whether it wants to go ahead, follow the leads, and prosecute. But I doubt that will happen. So as for this matter, it is dead and buried. Now, the three persons that you say have been identified, they have been determined not to be critical to the survival of the regime. So, I mean, it's just a possibility, so that people may have something to chew on. But, as they say, nothing. I mean, why would you expect anything? A president who comes out with this grandstanding statement, I'll put my presidency on the line. There was never any truth in that statement he made. So it was a mere con, like much of what has gone on under him. You know, so really. And it's clear that our president has checked out. He said openly, right, that for the next, our president for the next leader, not so.
Yes.
So what he does now is to engage in overseas and, you know, frolics on the world stage, like this silly statement about standing with the Zionist colonial apartheid project in Israel. But well, he's doing that as a is it a puppet or a stooge? Which is the proper way to, which is the proper title to assign? A puppet and a stooge, actually, of America. Because in Nanado, the Americans have found a leader that they've been looking for a very long time, for this space we call Ghana. Someone who is a very negation of Nkrumah, who has little or no respect for the African. Okay? But he has an extra reason to engage in the bootlicking that he's doing. And that has to do with the state of the Ghanaian economy. And Americans have gone all out to ensure that this government is comfortable. Right, you have a so-called IMF program without having satisfied most of the standard quote-unquote conditionalities. They've been waived. They're in a hurry. They're pressing and of course the World Bank, the IMF, they are tools of American policy. They're pressing them, go ahead, do what you have to do. Ghana has not been treated like, let's say they treated Zambia or Sri Lanka or whatever. And for a particular reason, because they needed someone in this space. Provide them with a launch pad for the rest of the West African sub-region. Would also not reignite the fire of Nkrumah, which they had worked very hard to douse with the 66 overthrow. So he's a dream. Whatever they want him to do, he does. even exceeds. Remember, he was the person who called out Ghanaians for being anti-American. Remember? You think that he was elected to serve the interests of America. Dares to look at Ghanaians who are his employer.
Okay. Doc, thank you.
Thank you very
much. This is Alhaji Peter T, who says 2024 is not and will never be the economic target year of Ghanaians. Even though John Dramani Mahama is coming to change the economic situation facing the nation today, we are looking beyond every single non-performing political character of Nana Addo Bawumia indecisive administration. They must be jailed. That is Alhaji Peter T, who sent that from Sokora. Two messages that I would just like to go through, then I end the show. This Elliot Ogbe Rice says, it is with deep concern that we address recent comments made by Chairman Wontumi regarding the people of the Volta region affected by Akosombo Dam spillage. It is unacceptable to use such an unfortunate situation to make political statement. We want to make it clear that such divisive rhetoric is harmful and does not reflect the spirit of unity that we should all strive for in our nation. The people of Volta region, like all Ghanaians, have the right to expect relief and assistance in times of need, irrespective of their political preferences. Secondly, we want to express our gratitude to His Excellency John Dramani Mahama for his visit to the flood-affected areas. His presence and concern during this challenging time are truly appreciated. Your support and empathy makes a significant difference. Also, we would like to thank the people of Katuno for their warm reception of the former President Mahama. Your hospitality reflects the unity and resilience that defines our great nation. Lastly, we extend our heartfelt appreciation to you, said Volta Regional Chairman of the NDC, Mauta Agbavita, with his unwavering commitment to creating harmony and inclusivity within the Volta NDC. Your leadership and education are essential in strengthening our party and putting Volta NDC on the map. Let me then read this statement from Maxwell Kwame Lukuto, also on the same issue. And it says, spillage of Akosombo Dam, are Voltarians not part of Ghana? He says it is over 5 days now since parts of the three Thong constituencies in the Volta region, South Thong, North Thong, and Central Thong, have been heavily affected by the second phase of the spillage of the Akosombo Dam. The affected constituencies are yet to see any government official apart from a DC or any statement issued to commiserate with the affected citizens of the constituencies. The President of the Republic on Tuesday, October 10, 2023, before leaving for the United States of America on Wednesday, issued a tweet on behalf of the people of Ghana, extending his deepest condolences to King Mohammed VI and the government of Ghana and the people of the Kingdom of Morocco on the tragedy which had been occasioned by Friday's earthquake and claimed lives, while his own backyard, his citizens are sleeping on top of flood waters and moving from one building to another using canoes, and not even a tweet from the president to sympathize with them. The acting president of the Republic, who doubles as vice president, is busily flying across the country with state resources, campaigning to break an 8 in his wildest dream and imagination. Is this government so insensitive and wicked to the pleas of its own citizens in the Volta region? Would this be the case if the situation had occurred in other regions? Appear the explosion in mind. What happened to the president's infamous ever adage of Nuvevela Zevevemeo Danile? The spillage of the Akosombo Dam has left residents in 3 Thong constituencies and several other places homeless and completely devastated. There's completely no sense of urgency from the government to assist the affected citizens or declare a state of emergency in the area. As a technocrat, I appreciate the need to open the dam for the spillage in order to safeguard the integrity of the dam, which provides electricity to the whole nation. That notwithstanding, it is important that the government puts in place the following measures to address the situation as a matter of urgency. 1. Immediately find a safe haven and move the affected individuals there. 2. Provide relief items to the victims, food and clothing. 3. Quickly dredge the estuary to allow free flow of the spilled water into the sea. 4. Get a technical committee from VRA to assess the extent of damage for compensation to victims. We want to remind the President of the Republic that the good people of the Volta region are citizens and not spectators and should be treated as such. He is engineer Surveyor Maswa Lukuto, 2024 NDC parliamentary candidate for South Tong. And of course, this is a matter that affects several parts of the many parts of the Volta region, and of course we are expecting some attention maybe in the coming week, because so far the attention that is the issue is getting is not satisfactory. It's not good at all, because this is a national disaster and should be treated as such. Well, a big thank you to Mr. Solomon Owusu, who is a member of the Movement for Change. Yes, Movement for Change. Team Alan, he's a butterfly, a proud butterfly, the monarch butterfly.
A monarch.
Okay, monarch butterflies. And a big thank you, of course, as always, to Member of Parliament for Tamale Central, Comrade Ibrahim Mutala Mohammed, and Dr. David Percy, who is a student of history and politics. We're expecting to be joined by Ambassador Sampial. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it. Good morning to you, Ambassador. Well, let me say happy birthday to Esina Masidigbe, who celebrates her birthday today, and also happy birthday to Regina Equia Dakon. Regina Equia Dakon, the wife of Alexander Kweku Dakon. And of course, a happy birthday to Luke Cage, and a good morning to Mr. Philip Demoji. Condolences to the family of the late Bernard Mauto Lavon. He's been buried today. I am Sena Numbo. We are back same time next week with another edition of the Mother of All Talk Shows, Alhaji and Alhaji, live on Pan-African Television, also live on Radio Gold. Thank you very much for your comments, for your time, and a big thank you to affiliate stations across the country. We wish the people who are the victims of the floods quite well. And of course, a big thank you to my cast, my crew, I keep forgetting. Director Dion Hubert, Emmanuel Ose, who is in charge of sound, my producers Tijani, and of course Irabna. Thank you all very much. And of course, I also understand that currently the South African foreign minister is saying some things about economy and challenging the claims that has been made by our government. I understand that that is currently ongoing. Some comments on, no, actually the IMF and the economy. So subsequently, I guess we'll get the full video. We'll share with you the things the South African foreign minister has to say. We'll be back same time next week. Enjoy the rest of your week.
I'm aware that I've come to Washington at a sensitive time in the life of this great city. For apart from the daily repercussions of having to deal with the consequences of Russia's 18-month-old aggression against the sovereign nation of Ukraine, the city has now to cope also this week with the effects of Hamas's violent invasion of Israel, with all its repercussions for peace in the Middle East. Ghana, like all civilized countries, is firm in her support of Israel and indeed of Ukraine in these difficult moments of their national survival.
He has labored, he has suffered to lead his people into the land of freedom. He is the Redeemer. He has labored, he has suffered to lead his people into the land of freedom. He is the Redeemer. He has labored, he has suffered to lead his people into the land of freedom. He is the Redeemer. He has labored,